Hello everybody, Low for Life here, bringing us a brand new video, and today we have a new deck profile for Water Chessman Alice. I've just been calling it Water Chessman, but I feel like I feel like Alice is a given, but anyways, so this is a deck that I have been very much looking forward to with Phantom Monarchs, and it's a lot of fun. It's very interesting. I don't know if I would say it's particularly, amazing at the moment. The big thing is the fact that Alice does not have a level 3, either version of her. Is a really big hindrance to the deck and everything. And there are some other things I'm noticing while playing, but that being said, this deck has some mad potential, and I feel like with some tweaks and tuning up, it could be really, really great. I played this at my locals recently, and I actually got my first two match wins in with it, which is crazy. One was against Evil Alice, the Spectre deck, and the other was against the Sheen Merlin deck. Very, very fun matchups for the most part. Although, Evil Alice, oh my god, that deck has so much healing. This deck doesn't do healing like the Evil Alice deck does. Instead, it's more about preventing damage and taunting towards your allies. Yeah, it's still very interesting in how they're trying to make up for the fact that Alice is currently capped out at level 2 for both versions of her, meaning she's only got 22 life, which is nothing compared to other decks that go to level 3 and actually have a good amount of health. So anyways, I don't want to dally too much. Let's go ahead and get on with the deck profile. We're going to start off with the material deck just because it's going to be quick and easy. First and foremost, we are of course playing a regular build, Water Spirit, alongside the level 1 and level 2 Alice for the Chessman archetype. So these are very interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of level 1 Alice. Her lineage release effect never came up. It could come up once in a blue moon where your opponent does cleave or something, you can just prevent a ton of damage, which is great. But the bigger thing is that it does give you that +1 attack. So really that's the main thing you have her here for, other than just being, being your champion and everything. But that +1 attack for your Chessman commands is really great. But you really want to get to your level 2 as soon as possible. Because the level 2 is where you can start doing shenanigans with the deck. Mainly because the level 2 has an effect to where you can tap her to be able to play out a pawn piece token if you don't control a pawn. This is very important and something that the deck very desperately needs. It's kind of crazy that for a deck that focuses so heavily on making tokens, there's only really 4 ways in the water build to be able to make tokens, and there's even less in the wind build. At least from what I have seen so far. I am going to mess around with Wind Alice as well to try that out, but I really hope Weebs gives us more ways to make tokens eventually, because right now the fact that you can't control a pawn to make a pawn really, really sucks with Alice. I really hope that if she ever does get a level 3, it has some effect to spam out tokens without caring if you have a pawn or not. That being said, level 2 also on Enter lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. It's glimpsing, so you can put them back on top or on bottom. Then you reveal the top card. If it's a Chessman card, it goes to your hand. Otherwise, that just gets you just put it back. It doesn't say trash it or anything, so yeah, it just stays there. Anyways, yeah, we got a pretty good lineup here with the Alices and everything. I do hope that she gets a level 3 eventually, and maybe we could see an even better level 1. I do like the level 1, but the lineage release has not come up at all yet. You gotta sack her to be able to for each awake Chessman ally reduces 3 damage to each Chessman you control. So if you have 3, that's reducing 9 damage. There's just never, I can't say never, because I did get fireballed for 10, but I didn't have anybody to block that damage. Otherwise, that could have come up there. But yeah, so it does come up once in a blue moon. It just, I don't know. The damage attacking is really, really good. It just kind of, comes up when you're about to die. die. So anyways, moving on. We have the drop band. This card I feel like is an absolute necessity. This is like your fourth way to make a token, but it only does it once. Because of course you gotta banish it, reveal 3 Chessmen, get a token. It's like, that's how it works. You get a pawn piece token. Woohoo! Then we got one Lagomorph piece. I don't know why I have to say, I don't know why. Well, okay, I know why. I'm saying 1, even though every material deck is inherently at 1, purely because it's just force a habit from other card games, but I digress. Ygopro piece. It's a 0 drop if you have Alice, which obviously you're going to. For the most part, unless like you're just really screwed and you're just staying at your Spirit of Water, which in which case you got some other problems going on there. Ygopro piece, pay 3, sack it, get a Chessman command attack from your graveyard into your memory. It's kind of like a backup charger, but you're not drawing. You're getting a card from the grave, which is very, very important. This is currently the only way to get back a command attack from your grave. There's no other way at the moment, to my knowledge. I have checked, nothing there. So yeah, this is very important because you need your command attack, especially in a water build where you'd have significantly less than you do for the wind build, which has like a bajillion command attacks. 1/1 to Frost. This card's really cool. You draw a card since you're a cleric, which is hilarious. And then you can banish it to target a unit that I guess you can target your own units if you want to, but you're mainly targeting your opponent's units to reduce its attack by 3. This came in handy against the Evil Alice matchup where they Bandersnatched to give it cleave and tried swinging for like 6 damage on all my guys. I just banished this. Actually, I think it was 5 damage I think you had. Yeah, because he was buffed up a little bit too. Yeah, it was like 5. I knocked him down to 2. He didn't kill a single thing. It was funny. So yeah, very, very helpful. Then we got 1 backup charger for the draws, 1 Grand Crusader's Ring for the draws, 1 Stealth Bomb for the draw, plus also protecting somebody. Life Essence Amulet. This could also be any bauble of your choice. Personally, I like Life Essence Amulet here because I've noticed that people tend to try to kill the pawns as soon as they come out, which, okay, fair point, they need to because the deck just abuses the pawns and nobody wants to deal with a Queen Piece token. So getting to get that draw off of them killing something, especially if it's a golden pawn where you get a draw off of that dying, then you draw this. Yeah, just really good. Just, you know, more stuff. You can also play the baubles if you want. I don't care for the baubles as much, especially since, like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as good, because it's like, okay, cool, I put the fire bauble in and then I play against nothing but water and wind deck, so I might as well be playing nothing in that spot. I don't know. Anyways, 1 Tariff Ring to try to stay alive. And then, because, unironically, looking around at the, what my locals currently has, where it's got there was like 2 or 3 people playing Evil Alice. I've been playing, I put this in, recently to counteract that. This could also be literally anything else if you want. And that is the Censor of Restful Peace. Oh, come on. There we go. Censor of Restful Peace negates all card effects in the graveyards. Come on. Why is this not focusing? There we go. So, yeah. Cards in graveyards lose all abilities. Just a stupid good card. Something very helpful in that matchup. And, yeah. You don't really care as much. There is some floating. Actually, quite a bit of floating. But by the time you plop this out, you already got the floating done and everything. It doesn't come up as much after you get to your level 2. I do also have Nullifying Lantern in the side deck, so just switch whichever one is needed more. So yeah, like, I don't think anybody's on Genbu anymore at my locals, other than maybe me every now and then. So yeah, that the Nullifying Lantern's not as relevant, but anyways, that's the material deck. If you have any ideas, recommendations, or concerns about that, I'd appreciate it, because I will admit I'm still super unsure of myself whenever it comes to deck building of this. Well, Grand Archive in general. Ratios and everything still kind of get me. I'm always kind of iffy on. Anyway, so let's get on with that main deck. We have 4 Lily Marine Castellan. Oh, wow, yeah, cannot. There we go. Okay. for Lily Marine Castellan. Lily is a really stupid card, and she's like $20 right now for the non-foil, for good reason. So she has Commanded Will too, so if you attack with a command attack with her, she gets +2 on the attack damage, which is very, very helpful. Excuse me. Plus, on top of that, on attack, if she's attacking something that has an even life stat, yes, even life stat, she gets another +1, and you get to bounce one of your cards in your memory back to hand. This allows you to do all sorts of funny things, like being able to attack with her, bounce a memory, and then be able to play out another card, or, like be able to just set up the board and everything. And get another attack in, all that stuff. She's a super good card for the deck and is probably the best rook that any build of Alice Chessman will have. The downside, of course, is that you can't play her in wind, which sucks, because it feels like wind, it just kind of like, I don't know. I've read the rook over on the wind side. He doesn't feel as good as Lily. Moving on, I've been doing 4 Weiss Knight. This card you could also probably play 3 of. I've been sticking with 4 because this card comes up a lot whenever people have taunters out. So Commanded Will of 1, so when you attack with a command attack with her, she gets a +1 to the attack power. But even more importantly, when you attack with her using a command attack, she becomes unblockable. So no taunting, no intercept, stuff like that. It's really good. Came up quite a bit with like Stalwart Shield Maiden and also some other taunters. I forget what the Undying Wraith or whatever it's called, like Evil Alice has, where he's got Taunt and Ephemeral or something. So yeah, very, very, very important card for getting that damage in every now and then. Next, we have 4 Golden Pawn. This is to my knowledge, unless I'm totally mistaken, only main deck pawn that is like not a token or anything. Has all the same pawn stuff where like, if she does 7 or more damage, you can tribute her to play out a queen piece token. But however, more importantly, she has taunt, and on death you draw a card, which is really great. So yeah, just good card all around. You do have to control another Chessman unit for her to have taunt. You can't just play her out and then, be safe. But most of the time you're going to be having multiple guys out, so yeah. She also has even less health than the pawn piece tokens, which honestly is probably fine. Just having a 1 health for a free draw basically is really great. Next up, I'm currently on 3 Hunt at the moment. I really wanted to play 4, but I found them very cloggy at 4, and even 3 sometimes feels too much. I keep bouncing back between 3 and 2 of them now, but however, Hunt is just such a good card, you need to see him, and since there's no searching in this game, period, you need to be able to get to him as soon as possible. Especially since he's the king of the water version, so you do need him for the proccing of the bonus effects that get stuff like off of kings and all that stuff, like castling. Very, very stupid card. He reduces his play cost by up to 4, 2 for each of the up to 2 pawns you control. So you have 2 pawns out, he reduces his cost by 4. And then you can tap him to do 1 of 3 effects. You can only do each effect once while he's on field, which is mildly annoying, but however, otherwise it'd be too stupid, honestly, because if he was just a tap him, get it every turn, this deck would probably be significantly better, honestly. If you have a bishop, you get to draw a card. If you have a rook, you can redirect an attack to the rook, and then the rook gets buffed with the health. I think it's, let's see here, yeah, +2 health. Or you can tap him to put a buff counter on a knight you control. Obviously, if you ever expend all 3 of his effects, you can just play out another and sack the old one, but it is still a bit annoying, but oh well. He's a very good card, and that draw off the bishop really, really helps. It really also helps that the bishops are just overall really good. So let's see here. To not make it so cloggy, we're going to move, there we go. Crowded, that's the word I'm looking for. Next, we have currently 3 Snow White Weiss Queen. Keep bouncing back and forth between 3 and 4 of her. Snow White is a very funny card. She's a bit of a floodgate. So level 1 or higher for both of her effects to be live. First effect is when she enters, she taps your opponent's champion, which is great. That champion does not wake up in the wake up phase. Awesome. Second effect is where we get funny. If a champion that your opponent controls would level up while it's rested, it gets bounced back. So if you tap something with her and your opponent was planning to go to their level 2 or to level 1 or level 3 or whatever, that just doesn't happen. It gets bounced back to their material deck. I don't know if on-enter triggers still happen. That is something that like no one knew, and I don't really know. So if anybody knows for sure, that's something I'm very curious about. I do have my 4th copy of her just in case I do decide to go to 4. But like, again, she feels a bit cloggy. There is, however, the big thing where you need her for Queen's Gambit, which is very, very important because Queen's Gambit, you activate it, when you do, you sack off a Chessman ally you control, you sack off a queen, you get 3 tokens. So, yeah, that's why I really like her in this deck particularly, because you want to be able to get the tokens. That gets you 3 tokens too, which is crazy, 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 crazy. She is, however, stupidly weak. 1 health, 1 attack. That's it. She ain't doing nothing. Moving on, we have 3 Golden Knights. Don't believe there's other than Weiss Knight. Golden Knight actually comes up quite a bit in terms of her effect. Whenever she attacks and she's battling something that has intercept or taunt, she gets a +1 to the attack damage. So she, whenever she's attacking and is battling something with taunt or intercept, she's effectively a 3 attacker, which is actually very, very helpful, and of course stacks up with the various attack buffs that this deck has. So yeah, very, very helpful, very good card, and just comes up quite a bit. Then we have Golden Bishop, which is probably one of my favorite cards in this deck and is one of the most annoying cards that I have found that my opponents hate. Golden Bishop, if she does damage to a unit that has an odd life stat, let me double check that. Yes, odd life stat, she gets a counter on her. And then you can remove a counter to reduce the next, well, to prevent the next 2 damage to any Chessman unit. This includes Alice, because Alice is a Chessman. So you can reduce the 2 damage to her, you can reduce the 2 damage on Alice, you can do it to anybody else. She's one of the most annoying allies in this deck, and it almost makes me want to play 4 of her. The downside is, of course, you gotta attack something and hit something that has an odd life stat, and so there are times where that just doesn't come up. Most of the time, level 1 and level 3 champions are odd life stats, so that's helpful. Same thing with like level 0 champions. Level 2s, I've noticed, tend to be even life stats, which is a bit annoying. And then allies are, of course, everywhere, so it's not guaranteed you're going to proc her, but man, when you do, it's so good. Then we are also playing 3 of the Weiss Bishop. She has stealth, so long as you control another Chessman unit. And then when attacking a unit that has, let's see here, an odd life stat, of course, again, odd life stat, she gets +1. So, yeah. There we go. She's just kind of an annoying little girl who sits there and does more damage, and your opponent can't really hit her. But anyways, very, very, very helpful of a card. Trying to get the glare off of the last card there. There we go. Kind of. Jeez. Oh, well, it's a learning process. Okay, moving on. That's all of the allies that I'm currently playing in this build. I wish I could fit in more, but however, it doesn't feel good to play too many because then you get cloggy, and yeah, that's no fun. So next up we have the command attacks, starting off with the finisher, and that is sacrifice play. I call it the finisher only because, man, this card can put in damage. This card, whenever you play it, it's a 3-cost command attack. It does 2 base damage. As you activate it, you can, for an additional cost, tribute 2 other awake Chessman allies you control. For each one you do, you can attribute up to 2. You don't tribute 2. You can tribute 1 if you want, or tribute none. It's down to you. But for every guy you tribute, you get another 2 damage with this card. So you do the full thing, you're doing 6 minimum damage with this, plus whatever attacking damage that your Chessman has, and then plus the one from Alice level 1, and then plus Queen's Gambit and Fields of Ranks and Files. It is stupid. It is a very powerful attack. I have hit 12 damage with this card, and you can hit even higher, especially if you're attacking with Queen Piece token. Very, very good attack. This is your attack that you're using usually to get to Queen Piece token, and this is the attack you're usually using to clear out the game. That being said, though, the other attack cards can get very high with their damage as well. Excuse me. Like, for instance, March On. March On is the weakest of the attack cards, but however, it's also like one of the more important ones, because it's a 1-drop command attack that does only 1 damage, but it's got floating memory. And of course, with all the attack buffing that you're doing with it, I've managed to swing for 8 damage with this card. It's very funny. With that, you typically want to try to use this early on alongside doubled pawns, summon pawn, in order to get out your floating memory to be able to, well, actually get to your level 1 and level 2 and so on. Overall, good card and all that stuff. And then we have the 1 water attack, which currently I'm on 3, and I really want to play 4, and I can't figure out what to cut for it. And that is Skewering Advance. Skewering Advance is a 2-drop that does 2 damage, as of course command Chessman, so your command attacks, your Chessmen have to use it, yada yada yada. On kill, if you killed something that has an even life stat, you draw a card. So I think it's even life stat, right? Yes, even life stat. So this one you don't really want to use attacking a champion, because if you kill the champion, you're winning the game. I guess that's going to be different once we get to Pantheon. But I'll be very surprised if this deck is playable in Pantheon. I really don't think it is. But anyway, I digress. Skewering Advance, you're mainly using it to clear out the allies your opponents play out and stuff like that. It's not particularly great for all of that because you aren't always guaranteed to draw. The Wind version does have, the Wind deck does have the exact same version of this card, except it's odd life stat. Just overall a good card. It's another attack card, and it's the only other attack card that this deck can play. Really, really sucks they threw almost all the attack cards into the Wind build, but I get it. It feels like they gave better allies and controlling options to the water build, and then they gave the Wind build more attacks. The Wind build just feels like it's going to be way more aggressive, and I can't wait to play around with it. I digress. Anyways, yeah, I really want to fit in a 4th. 3 feels good, though, so far. It hasn't felt clunky. That's 11 attack cards, and I feel like I always see enough of them. So, I don't know, maybe 3 is the way to go. We'll see. Moving on, we have 3 Queen's Gambit. I really wanted to keep this at 4 for a while, but I cut it down to 3 because it gets a bit cloggy when you have multiples, and it's very easy to have multiples in hand. So it's a 2-cost, Unique Fantasia. When you play it out, though, you also have to tribute a Chessman card, a Chessman ally, and if you tribute a queen, you get 3 pawn piece tokens, which is really good. And of course, that's Snow White on the artwork, so yeah, that's kind of like what you're supposed to do. But however, also you get to draw a card into memory, regardless of if you tribute a queen or not. And while it's out, Chessman's get an additional 1 attack for the turn that they are played out. So, you know, it just helps build up that damage. Speaking of, I'm currently on 2 Fields of Ranks and Files. This card is a siegeable domain. It's unique as well, and it's really good when you see it. I'm debating on if I want to play more of it or not. It feels a bit bricky when you have multiples. Same thing with the Queen's Gambit, but you need to see it because this card is where you get your big damage in. The first Chessman you play out and the first Chessman attack you play out get +2. So you play out a Chessman, he gets +2 by himself, and then you play out an attack with him, and that gets another 2. This card represents 4 damage on its own every single turn. That being said, it gets a big old target on its back, and your opponent's going to try to kill it as soon as possible. So, yeah. But anyways, I'm probably going to go with 3 for the 1 build. I'm really feeling it. 2 felt just right. I saw it just enough, but maybe more. I don't know. I'm feeling like 3 and 3 almost, like for both of these. And that's it for the domains and fantasias. Moving on to the skills and fun stuff like that. We got 4 not doubled, summon pawns. Summon pawns is your main way of getting out tokens. You reveal 3 chessmen and you play out a pawn piece token. It's also got the floating memory and it's fast, so you just get out your guys and you do your thing and you get to go into the level 1 and all that fun stuff. Really good card all around. Next up, we have Doubled Pawns. This card is another really stupid card, and I wish Wind had a version of it. In this card, you summon 2 pawn piece tokens. It costs 3. If you do it during your opponent's recollection phase, though, the tokens get taunt, which is really, really helpful and helps keep you alive and keep your allies that you want to keep around alive. Like, for instance, I've used this to keep a Snow White alive, so that then I can tribute her off for the Queen's Gambit on the next turn. Very good card all around. I wish Wind had a version of it, and that's like the biggest thing I'm not looking forward to whenever we get to the Wind build later on. Next up, we have 4 Golden Gambit. This card is probably one of the stupidest cards in the deck. As an additional cost to activate it, you got to tribute a Chessman, and you draw 2 cards. If you tribute Golden Pawn, obviously you're going to draw 3, which is really good, and why it's so stupid. Very good card for the deck and everything and what it wants to do. Next up, we have 3 Cerulean Decree. This is one of our negates and draw cards and stuff like that. It just does so much. You can negate a card, draw a card, or reduce an attack by 3. Stupid good card. Kind of want to play 4, but it feels a bit clunky at 4. I also really want to fit in Topsy Decree into this deck. Topsy is probably, well, I have it in the side deck right now, and I really want to try to work it into the main too. At least as a 2 of in the main and 2 in the side, but right now I just have 3 in the side. That feels good enough. But Topsy came up so much for the main deck. I really wish I was playing it in the main deck, but so did Cerulean, so it's like, okay, which is which? Which do I do? Anyways, moving on, we have 3 Frostbind. It's just standard negation stuff, trying to stop our opponent from playing and killing us. Next up, we have 3 Fracturize. I'd have to explain staples. Fracturize is a stupid good card, and of course it allows us to do the funny Fracturize thing with Backup Charger. And then we got 2 Castling Boon. This is a card I want to play 3 of, but I can't fit it in, and I think 2 is fine. When you play it out, all your chessmen get +1 health until the end of the turn. If you have a rook, they get +3 instead. And then it's got floating memory. Then we got 2 Castling. This card reduces its cost if you control a let's see here, a rook and a king, and so if you have a rook or a king, it reduces it by 2, and it's 2 for each. So if you have a rook and a king, you get to play this for free. Up to 2 Chessman allies you control get, let's see here, +2 health, Spell Shroud, and Taunt. Really good card all around. It doesn't come up heavily, but it does come up because honestly, you're not often having both Lily and Hunt out. It just doesn't come up that often, and I wish it came up more. Finally, I have 2 Fast Cure. Kind of want to play more, but you already got enough floating memory, and that's really what this card is mainly used for, just to get you more and to occasionally heal. And that is everything. I love this deck so much. It's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to tinker around with it more. I do really want to also test out the Wind build. The Wind build feels like it will be mildly better in terms of actually closing out games and stuff because it has so many attacks and it has so much damage and output it can put out. But we will see. So anyways, that is everything. If you have any comments, ideas, or anything you want to share, rate, comment, subscribe down below. I do Grand Archive content on this channel alongside Digimon and the occasional bit of Chaotic. So yeah, be on the lookout for more videos, and see y'all later. Thank you for watching. Bye. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please consider rating, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. It all goes a long way to helping out me and my channel. And also, if you do, please consider following me on social media, as well as also checking out my other channels. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Peace out.